she get it?
Yep, she licked my toes.
She said she's not gonna leave me alone till I lick that toe. Now I'm leaving because it's a stinky toe.
See?
Hey, Habargani. Today's principle is KUJICHAGULIA, which means self-determination. Welcome to our 21-22 celebration, community celebration of Kwanzaa. Pyramid Art Books and Custom Framing has teamed up with Conducting Creativity and Backyard Enterprises to present the annual community-wide celebration of Kwanzaa. I am Garbo Hearn. Wesley Peters, I know your last name. Wesley Peters is with Conducting Creativity, and LaRon McAdoo is with Backyard Enterprises. So thank you so much for partnering with us this year. This year's theme is Kwanzaa 365, with the goal of planting the seeds necessary to encourage, facilitate, and incorporate the use of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa year-round. And due to the pandemic, the celebrations are being held virtually, and we strive to keep our community healthy. So join us every day at 1 p.m. Conducting Creativity is a 501c3 nonprofit whose primary mission is to close the educational and talent development gap for creatives, leaders, entrepreneurs, and artists, and has assembled community speakers and creatives to be featured each day. Zawadi, Swahili for gift, is given every year on the last day of Kwanzaa. Staying true to Kwanzaa founder, Dr. Malana Karinga's directive of giving the gift of knowledge, we will be collecting new and gently used books. This year's recipient of Community Zawadi is the Storybook Project of Arkansas, and books can be dropped off at Pyramid Art Books and Custom Framing and Hearn Fine Art at 1001 Wright Avenue through January 1, 2022. So thank you so much. And Wesley, take it away.
Baragani, real quick, I need everybody to come up off of mute. Please come off of mute. This is still a community event, so please come off of mute. Everybody, I need full participation. So when I say Habargani, I'm asking what's the news? I'm asking what's the principle? I'm asking what's up with it? I'm asking what are we celebrating today? So when I say Habargani, everybody say KUJICHAGULIA. All right. One more, I'm gonna say Habargani, and I need everybody to respond back by saying KUJICHAGULIA. Right. Everybody got that? We got it. All right. Habargani. KUJICHAGULIA. One more time. Habargani.
KUJICHAGULIA.
I like it. So KUJICHAGULIA, or self-determination, that means so much to me because it takes so much to uphold not only self but an entire race of people. So when you talk about Kwanzaa, you're talking about a lifestyle, a way of living that just encompasses your everyday mood, your being. So KUJICHAGULIA, or self-determination, it sticks near and dear to me. And I share this story as much as possible. I have a mom that growing up, I would ask her a question, and Mom, what does this mean? Or can you give me a little bit of information about this or that? And she would never just give me a straight up answer. She would say, go look it up. So literacy was a big part and is a big part of my life. So I think in self-determination and KUJICHAGULIA, it's important to always build yourself up. So in order to have self-determination, we must always add fuel to the fire inside of us. So we have a great ceremony today. And without further ado, we are going to have a little bit of history from Anna Hearn. She's been on me about me knowing my history, so it's really important. So the next thing that you will see is the history of Kwanzaa, specifically KUJICHAGULIA by Anna Hearn.
Hello, welcome to the Little Rock citywide commemoration of Kwanzaa. My name is Anna Hearn, and I just wanted to give you all a short background of Kwanzaa and give you an explanation of some of the things that we will use during the ceremony today. So let's get started with what is Kwanzaa. Before we can talk about the holiday, we can kind of talk about the founder, Dr. Maulana Karenga. He is a professor and chair of the Department of Africana Studies at California State University. Dr. Karenga created Kwanzaa in 1966. A very tumultuous time in African American history and American history with the Watts Rebellion. Dr. Karenga wanted to create a holiday that was mainly rooted in family and culture and reflection. It's not necessarily a religious holiday. It is a cultural one that celebrates our talents, celebrates each member of the family. And even though it is not celebrated by just one religion, there will be some spiritual qualities that you'll see throughout the ceremony. So the holiday, Kwanzaa, is celebrated every day between December 26th and January 1st. A different principle is celebrated each day that is designed to be about reflection and what we want to do for the new year. Kwanzaa comes from the Swahili phrase Matunda ya Kwanzaa, which means first fruits. So this is a time of reflection, a time of thinking about what you want for the new year of harvest. A lot of people, they print Kwanzaa with just one A at the end, or you may see it how we printed it here. Fun fact, when they first celebrated Kwanzaa back in 1966, Dr. Karenga had 7 children in his household, and every child wanted to be represented with a letter. So they added the extra A for Kwanzaa. And it's very fitting because we have 7 principles, 7 letters. So Kwanzaa is not a replacement for Christmas. Many people celebrate both. It is celebrated all over the world by different faiths, nationalities, and cultures. It is truly a universal holiday. Swahili, the language that we use to explain what Kwanzaa means, is a language that is spoken widely on the African continent. And the celebration of Kwanzaa is modeled on traditional African harvest festivals. So let's get into our 7 principles. The Nguzo Saba, Nguzo's principle, Saba, 7 principles. You'll see on the screen the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. Every day during the week of Kwanzaa, you may hear someone ask, Habari Gani, or what's the news? What's the principle of the day? So when someone asks, hey, Habari Gani, you're supposed to give them the principle of today. So our principles are celebrated each day. Umoja, unity. KUJICHAGULIA, self-determination. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Ujama, cooperative economics. Nia, purpose. Kuumba, creativity. Imani, faith. Habari Gani. So the symbols in Kwanzaa table, as you can see, 7 candles on the screen. They're in red, black, and green. Let's talk about why red, black, and green candles. This is the Pan-African flag. Those are the colors of the diaspora. The red stands for the blood that has been shed for the liberation of Black people and those throughout the diaspora. The black is for the color of our skin, for our people. Green is the abundant natural wealth of Africa, those lush landscapes, the things that Africa has contributed to the world. So these colors are very important and significant to our celebration and really help us to reflect on what our people have been through and what we continue to contribute to the world. So Kwanzaa is celebrated different ways by different families, but there are common elements that you will see on every Kwanzaa table. Before we can start talking about the Kwanzaa setup, we have to talk about the foundation. To have a strong house, you have to have a strong foundation. And the foundation of our Kwanzaa setup is the mkeka. That is a straw mat. It's usually almost handmade, and it is the setting for our Kwanzaa setup. Just like Hanukkah has the menorah, the Kwanzaa setup is hosted by the Kinara, that is our candle holder. And the Kinara hosts the Mashuma Saba. There's the word Saba again. There's 7 candles which represent the Nguzo Saba. And a principle is celebrated each day, and we'll light a candle for that principle. As I said earlier, Kwanzaa is from a longer phrase, Matunda ya Kwanzaa, which is first fruits of the harvest. And our harvest is represented here on the table with the Mazeo. Babunzi, Kwanzaa is about family, our community, our culture, and everyone should see themselves in the ceremony, in the symbols on the table. And the Babunzi stands for the number of children in our household. I know we have a lot of children and community members watching, so the children in our community this year will be represented by the kernels on the corn. The first day of Kwanzaa is Umoja Unity. So the Kikombe Cha Umoja is the unity cup, and it will be used in our libation ceremony to lift up those elders who have passed on. And last but not least, we have Zawadi. These are gifts that are given during Kwanzaa. Dr. Karinga, the founder of Kwanzaa, felt like Kwanzaa had become felt like Christmas had become really commercial. People were focused on buying all these gifts and not really focusing on the family and community. And so what he wanted to do was still give gifts during Kwanzaa, but they are to be homemade or knowledge. So if you cook well, if you sew, those are gifts that you can give during Kwanzaa, or books that are sources of knowledge to enrich someone's life. So this is our Kwanzaa setup. And now just a really brief overview of the ceremony. As I said earlier, everyone should be represented in the Kwanzaa ceremony or the setup. We always ask permission of an elder to begin. We recognize their wisdom and their time on this earth. So we just want to give that permission, that blessing to start. Then our host for the day will introduce the principal and give us some reflections. Then we'll have our libation ceremony, which lifts up those members of our community that have passed on, that really embodied Umoja in their lifetime. Our host will introduce our community leader, who will reflect on the day's principle. Then we'll have volunteers, community members, share how they want to embody the day's principle going forward. Our host will come back to introduce our creative expression. We'll enjoy the talents of our best and brightest artisans. Then we'll light the Kinara for the principle of that day, followed by community announcements. We're going to talk about our community Zawadi as well as the next day, and we welcome volunteers. And we'll close out our ceremony with Harambe, which means pull or come together. Thank you so much, and we look forward to celebrating each day of Kwanzaa with you.
Thank you so much, Anna. Again, I saw some new people come in while the video was playing, so I'm going to do this duration of this ceremony. Everybody come off mute one more time. And when I say Kabargani, everybody speak back and say KUJICHAGULIA. So we're gonna do this one more time. Kabargani.
KUJICHAGULIA.
Okay, the next thing that we're gonna do is we have to respect our elders. Kwanzaa is about the whole community. I need an elder, any elder, to give us permission to go forward. Any elder can give us permission to go forward.
Go forward, please.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hearn. Tomorrow, hopefully we have a different elder that can press us forward. So the next piece of the ceremony is our is by the Glover family, Jane and AJ, along with their father. They're going to explain what they do today in detail, please, and tune in. I'm sorry, Mr. McAdoo is going to do the libation ceremony.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it goes down in the right town. It's great in the 8th state. If you're ready, say yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
you have your camera muted or unmuted. I just want to see your lips moving. Let me hear you say, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so right now, this is what we're about to do. We're about to acknowledge, and you're wondering, why is this crazy dude outside with his plant? It's because I'm out here with my people. I see my neighbors, I'm waving at them. They're driving by, I'm waving at them. Kids playing in the yard, all of that thing, all of those type of things are happening. People raking leaves and everything. And so I'm not only here with my people in the present, in the physical, I'm with them in spirit. And you have to be with your people in spirit as well. So the first person that we're going to acknowledge in this libation is somebody that we not only remember, we're going to take it a step further and say that we miss them. Somebody that we not only remember, but we miss. For me, it's my grandfather. For you, it may be a community member, somebody that helped our people. I want you to think of their name in your head right now. And on the count of 3, say their name. 1, 2, 3. All right, now we're all gonna say on the count of 3, Ashe. 1, 2, 3.
Ashe.
That means amen. So be it. All right, so the second group of people that we're gonna acknowledge is us. We are here in the present, which means we have a responsibility. We have an obligation. We have to live the principles. We have to share the principles. We have to teach the principles. We are here. So let's lift our name up to the heavens, to the skies, to the universe. On the count of 3, say your own name. 1, 2, 3.
Latrice Bransfield.
And on the count of 3, say Ashe. 1, 2, 3.
Ashe.
That means no cap. That means no cap. I'm just making sure this ain't a generation. All right, so now the third group that we're going to talk about, the third group are the babies, the ones that are not yet born, the ones that will live after we live, the ones that will be here when our first name fades away so that our last name can move on. We want our last name to represent who we are in this moment. We want our legacy to live. We need to pray and we need to acknowledge that that will happen by doing this libation for the future. So on the count of 3, say the future. 1, 2, 3. The future. All right, and now on the count of 3, say Ashe. 1, 2, 3.
Ashe.
That means real talk. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Ashe. We needed that. We're gonna keep this show going for the simple fact that we are definitely on the schedule. So the next voice that you will hear is my friend, the co-founder, the president of Conducting Creativity. She's gonna speak herself down, but I'm gonna speak her up. Jordan Danberry.
Thank you, Wesley. I appreciate that. Like you said, my name is Jordan Danberry. I am the current president of Conducting Creativity. It's really an honor to be here today to be able to partner with Pyramid Art Books and Custom Framing as well as Backyard Enterprises to celebrate Kwanzaa 365. And today's theme is self-determination, to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. So I have 3 guest panelists here with me today, Anriel Howard, Micah Denis, and Jessica Jackson. If each of you would please introduce yourselves and tell me what self-determination looks like to you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Anriel Howard. I feel that self-determination is creating a goal, and this is just what I've done in my life and experience. I set a goal for myself, and even though it may not be the easiest goal to obtain, it's still realistic, but I put in all the work and the principles in order to obtain the goal that I set. I always have a why of why I do something, whether it's because I do it for my family, I do it for myself, serve the Lord, like whatever my why is in that goal that I'm trying to reach is how I obtain that self-determination.
How you guys doing? My name is Micah Denis. I specialize in youth intervention and prevention, alternative sentencing programs. But so how I would, I guess, identify self-determination is kind of knowing, well, almost not knowing, but feeling what's right. So listening to your intuition, to your God, to your universe, following that. But also having repetition behind it, being consistent behind it, and believing things when other people don't. A lot of times we have a thought in our head or we believe we can be something, but we shoot it down because the person next to us may not have that interest, or, you know, they couldn't do it, so they tell us we couldn't. So more so just believing it. Anytime somebody tells you no, it just means not yet, and continue in that path that, you know, another door will open up for you.
Do I just start talking?
Yeah, go ahead, Jess.
Oh, okay. I'm Jessica Jackson, former Lady Razorback, current professional basketball player and CEO, founder of Just With The Press. And self-determination to me will be like someone who's like relentless, want to go after all their goals, not gonna stop at anything. Even when the bad days come, they still gonna keep moving forward and having the most confidence as they can and being determined. That's what self-determination looks like to me.
Thank you, y'all. So everyone on the call, or all of the panelists today, are actually D1 athletes. So sports, you know, is natural to us. So I'm gonna go ahead and start there. During those times of off season, early morning practices, how did you guys find the grit and the toughness, you know, to continue to train or to continue to stay in the gym and get better? What was your motivation behind that?
For me, I say like my self goals that I had, like the things that I wanted to accomplish by being a player at Arkansas, and the things I wanted to do, and my teammates, like how the family has started to come around. That's what kept me like going through those practices and stuff. Like they was there to cheer me on and keep going, like we all hurting or whatever, but like we a family, that's what we signed up for. It was just do it. So that was with mine.
Okay.
You want me to go ahead?
Oh, go ahead.
You want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So for one, you sign a contract, you gotta go to practice. For one, we talking business, you sign the contract, you gotta show up. But what makes you want to do that and to sign that contract, you know, wait, what's the question again?
So during those times of the off season and early morning practices, what was your motivation to continue to get better? or to
Oh,
continue
okay,
to get
okay.
up?
Yeah. So that's where I was going with it. But you know, it's a thing of when you start younger. You know, a lot of times if you're doing sports in college, you've been doing this a long time. You've invested a lot of time and money into it. Your family has, and you've found a love for it. So I think initially the love is important for it, but then personally mine was not going back to the hood, and not necessarily not going back, but not going back in the position that I was in. I would like to go back where I can actually make a change or help or be able to have a little mastery within my situation. And so that's what I wanted. I wanted to train. I've always had practice. We always have practice, but there's a difference of practicing and training. Training is a lifestyle. And when you completely dedicate yourself to something and you trust that process, especially with sports, you see how fast your body changes. You see how fast your mind changes. And that you know, ultimately changes your reality. So just being able to reap the benefits fast, because it does change your body, it does change your mindset. You do get new experiences. So it's just a whole new environment you have to cope and adapt with. But it is very it's fun, and it's an interesting experience, good and bad. And I think, you know, every day you don't know what it's going to come with. And I think, you know, to a certain extent, that's kind of exciting.
Okay, for me, so like Jordan said, we're all former D1 athletes. I'm a former professional basketball player, was in the WNBA. Now I'm in the WWE. So I'm a sports entertainer, and I still have to train. And my motivation has kind of changed from college to professional basketball to now WWE, being a sports entertainer. And like the last speaker said, we have a contract regardless, so you have to do it. But it's also for me the desire to want to be the best at whatever I'm doing in any sport. And my motivation, like I said, it honestly has changed throughout the years. My motivation, but I can't say for all of them. Number one, my motivation is to make sure I represent God the best way that I can in that sport. And number two, I always have the desire and the grit to want to be great, to want to be the best at whatever that I'm in. And I feel that has always helped me, even when I'm down. Maybe if I didn't have the best game afterwards, I wouldn't just mope about it. I'll do something about it. I may stay at the gym after coming back from an away game. Just little stuff like that. Watch film. All of that actually helped me. Like, okay, I'm doing something about it. I'm not just soaking in whatever, you know, didn't go my way. But my whys have always kind of changed, like I said, the older I've gotten. And honestly, it all just comes down to wanting to be the best at whatever I'm doing. So yeah.
Okay. Thank y'all for that. So has there ever been a time, and I probably could really answer this for y'all, but has there ever been a time where you feel like you wanted to give up? Walk me through some of those emotions where there was a specific time you wanted to give up, but you didn't.
Like,
Yeah,
give up
actually,
with like your sport, or like
it could be sports and life, relationships, you know, anything.
It was a recent time I wanted to give up with basketball.
Tell me about, walk me through those emotions.
My emotions with that was like, it's not as fun, it's not as fulfilling. I feel like I'm like not as in love as I was with the game first starting out. And it was like, dang, this is all you know. I've been doing this for more than half of my life. And it's like, what would be next? Like, what would I do? And all that. So the emotions was all over the place. Like, dang, do I sacrifice this for my happiness? Do I take this leap of faith and do what I really want to do? Or what, like, I don't really know how to like decide what direction I want to go in. Mm-hmm. So basically, yeah, my emotions was like everywhere, up and down. And the people who helped me get out of it was like friends and family members. Like, they talked to, I even talked to you about it and stuff. Like,
Right.
However I could, my therapist or whatever direction, it helped me with my emotions, with coping on like going into a different lifestyle.
Okay.
Yes, for me, I would say I did want to give up around so actually after I got drafted to the WNBA, sorry. I was on the team for a little bit, and then middle of the season I got cut, and I went through a really hard time because up until then, honestly, I would say I didn't really have much hardship in sports. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you have a bad game, but something like that was really detrimental to me, and I didn't really know how to respond in that moment. And I learned a lot from it, and I needed that to grow as a person because I kind of just shut down, shut away from everybody. It was just honestly to myself, and was still working out because I did have faith that something would happen again athletically for me. I didn't know what, but I learned a lot in that time of just being down and just relied on my faith. Honestly, once I got out there, read, I'm like, you know what? One door closes, another one opens. And so I'm thinking I'm about to go overseas, about to sign a contract this right before COVID, actually to China. But I'm glad that didn't work out, and I ended up coming to WWE, and honestly, it's been the best thing for me athletically and just in my career, and I'm really appreciative of that. But I would just say, anytime when you feel down, it's okay to cry, it's okay, but just don't stay in that rut for so long. You got to move on. And like I said, for me, what always helps me is just my faith. Honestly, that's what always gets me. And then talking to someone you really trust and love and can relate to is what helped me as well. So just know when one door closes, another one will open.
Most definitely, I can agree to that.
Okay. Do you mind re-asking the question? I hope this doesn't annoy anybody.
No.
Do you mind re-asking? Okay.
No, you fine. Has there ever been a time where you felt like you wanted to give up? Walk me through some of those emotions at that specific time where you felt like, you wanted to give up, and how did you overcome it?
Mm-hmm. So with sports, so I did track at the University of Arkansas. I threw shot put. I had truly already given up after high school. So I mourned a different time than a lot of my teammates would mourn when track ends or sports end in college. I kind of did it after high school because I didn't want to go to school. I hated school. I didn't care to do any sports. I just wasn't too big into entertaining people anymore. I was more on I want to do community work. But so I mourned it then. It was challenging. It was different. I didn't know what to do. I felt like because the sport was gone, who was I? Where was I at the time? Because at that age, that was kind of all you did was sports, and you're supposed to go to college, that kind of thing. But it just kind of, one day I just woke up and didn't want to do that, didn't want to be who I was anymore. And I was like, let me send in all these questionnaires that don't mean nothing. I started filling out questionnaires that the coaches sent. That doesn't mean anything. And I know that now, but before I was just trying to get an answer. And then once I ended my collegiate career, I did end it by not being eligible because of my grades. Like I said, I never liked school. I was really trying to push it into the end of my last semester to try to make it. But I was unable to. So that was very emotional. But I went to therapy. That was a lot that I did, as well as I knew my purpose very early in life. I knew at the age of 16 what I wanted to do. And I knew that sports were just going to be stepping stones to it. So it just kind of, died off with, the old me in a way.
Okay. Yeah, I can kind of touch on that as far as, using sports as stepping stones. Because with me, I've, had my hand in a lot of different things. And one thing I always knew is I wanted to graduate with a degree. How I was gonna pay for that, I didn't know until, I got a ball in my hands and someone told me that I could get a scholarship off of it. So that was pretty much my whole motivation throughout college was, to graduate. Basketball was gonna get me there, whether I played at the next level or not. But Anriel, you kind of touched on this a little bit. You played basketball at the highest level at every level, including, well, no, not overseas, but for the WNBA. Then now you're a professional wrestler with the WWE. Tell me a little bit about that transition and how the preparation and focus have been different, or if it's been different at all.
No, yeah, that's a good question. You said the transition first. So the transition for me, I didn't know what to expect. I am a person who has a big personality. So that's what attracted me, being a sports entertainer, honestly, just being an entertainer and still being able to use my athleticism, because I still got it a little bit. So I wanted to still put that together. But honestly, I had no idea what to expect. Maybe when I was in 6th grade, I want to say, I used to watch, the Attitude Era, which was the best in my opinion. And getting to see like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ric Flair, like those were some real entertainers in my eyes. And I remember that just a little bit in 6th grade when I was younger. And then I just kind of like put that away. After that, that's when I actually started sports, track, basketball, like just, all the sports that you dibble and dabble in. And, that was just put away. So I didn't know much about it. My fiance, actually, he he was the one who mentioned being a WWE wrestler to me. I wasn't thinking nothing of it. And long story short, he is a former NFL Super Bowl champion. So he has connections, and we ended up honestly just getting that connection to get a tryout, an opportunity. And I went down there, and it was honestly one of the hardest things that I've done physically, because like I said, I've ran track. I did track 1 year, my first year in college as well. Track is honestly one of the hardest sports in my eyes too. But so I came out here, and they just wanted you on that trial. It was a 3-day trial. Physically, they wanted you to quit so they can get rid of, weed out the weak ones basically. So we did some hard stuff, man. And I just had to just go machine mode, sport mode, not even worry about how hard it was, and just be in the moment and just do what I had to do. So like the transition, I honestly didn't know what to expect. I just went out there and winged it and gave my best. But I do remember after the first day of the tryout, they, put us in a nice hotel, whatever. I was drinking a whole bunch of water, making sure my body was hydrated. So I got up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, and it was like 4:00 in the morning. And when I kid you not, I tried to get out the bed and I just fell. And that was the sorest my body has ever been from head to toe. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not gonna make it. Like I gotta do something. So at 4:00 in the morning, I went to go get some ice from, the little ice maker in the hotel, and got in the ice bath. And it was just like, that's something I just always remember, how I literally gave 100% in that time of that transition of the tryout and stuff. But what was the second part of the question?
I know it was rough if you got in the ice bath.
Okay, I used to hate them ice bath. But what was the second part? I'm sorry.
The second part was, how was the focus is different? How was the focus different?
Oh, absolutely. So the focus, yeah. So Jordan knows when it comes to plays, some reason I just kind of forget plays and just kind of do my own thing, like with basketball. So the focus has always been something in sports where I had to, like, for real, get it together, because I honestly relied on a lot of my athleticism and aggression to kind of get me by in a lot of stuff. But as I got older, I realized, okay, it's not just about that. Like, you actually got to focus on what you're doing, know the scout report, stuff like that. So I had to really, really get down with my focus as far as wrestling, because I'm coming to something I never knew, like I don't know nothing about. And it's technique. Safety is number one. So now everybody knows WWE, is fake, but it's not fake because you still feel all of the impacts. So that's why, like I said, physically my body is sore from head to toe until you get used to it. But the focus comes in where you got to know, it's kind of like a playbook. You got to know when you call out this move, you know how to position yourself to get into it. It's just, it's a different mindset that my mind hasn't been tapped into. But honestly, it's good because it's this focus that I'm doing now in my career is helping me in my life now. So it's just being able to recognize and realize that, okay, I can't just get by this. I actually have to study and be a student of this sport.
I agree with that last part for sure. Okay, so I have one more question for everybody. Each of you have gotten a chance, to compete in one of the best conferences in the world, the SEC. I'm sure everybody on the call can agree to that the SEC is the best. So what has been the biggest adjustment for each of you transitioning to real life after college sports?
I say you have to be more responsible for yourself. Like you don't have, like you're gonna get in trouble by a coach, like people waking you up, like a set schedule that you have to be on. And it's like more of like, you gotta actually want to do what you're doing, and you gotta be responsible to, it's like, you gotta be more responsible to get everything done yourself. It's no more relying on teammates. It's like, it's all you. That has been my biggest adjustment, like having to take responsibility for myself and get into like the real world of not being taken care of as much.
I agree exactly what she said. That's it for me too. So she said the answer.
Micah?
Definitely take care of yourself. That's a big step. But I think that the biggest adjustment was learning that, for one, you're no longer a child. Because I always still feel way younger than what I am. I still feel like I'm there are supposed to be people looking out for you and this, that, and the third. But the biggest adjustment was growing up and realizing that the adults didn't really know what they was doing either. They didn't really know what was going on for real either. They was just told by their job or the last person, or it was just like hand-me-down information. And I think that learning to have the confidence that if I feel this way and I stand on this, especially within my business and what I'm doing, it is what it is. I don't care if you couldn't do it. I don't care if they could, if this is what we're going to do now, and confidently going and working with people that were once over you, but now you guys are on the same level. You're both on CEO level. And so I think that not feeling inferior to growing up was my biggest thing. And being very intentional as I'm growing up and doing things, because when you do grow up, mistakes happen. But only so many can happen, especially when you're broke, because you got to pay for those mistakes. Right. So, just being a lot more intentional and understanding, just the moves to make and being strategic. And I think that was the biggest adjustment. And also being what I said I was going to be. Making sure that I stood on everything that I ever said I wanted to be, all the work that I put in from start to finish. I'm going to complete this mission because I'm closer to the finish line than the start line. So,
Definitely. And I want to add on to that. I guess my biggest adjustment was really just finding my passion, finding how I can still make an impact on people without having to play a game. So, how am I getting it more involved? Like you said, how am I standing on, what I said I wanted to do, or what did I do all of that for? It wasn't just to get a degree and to work a job, but it was to make an impact so that I can have more knowledge, so that I can give more knowledge. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and give it back over to Wesley to close out the ceremony. Thank y'all for participating on our panel today. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having
us. It was fun.
Thank y'all so much. The whole time y'all was speaking, it's a Nipsey Hussle song called Perfect 10. And he basically says that he had to go through every emotion he had to go through every emotion to get to his success. And when I think about self-determination, I literally think about the fact that you have to go through everything. You have to go through the rough stage. You got to go through the hills, the valleys, the highs, the lows. You got to go through everything. So having self-determination, like all of you mentioned, is a very intentional thing. So thank you for continually reiterating that point. And this is also, and Micah, thanks for saying that. It's important, like as you grow mentally, to take the time that you need for your mental health. So seeking therapy. We'll have Dr. Holmes lead a conversation tomorrow about what it takes to be strong as a community. You have to be strong mentally too. So thank you for also mentioning that. But without further ado, I would like to bring back to the stage Mr. LaRon McAdoo. He can show enough shake a room. So Mr. McAdoo, the stage is yours.
My name is LaRon McAdoo, and I am presenting the Little Rock 2022 Kwanzaa 365 Artistic Expression. Let us be activated by this poet and youth motivator who leads my youth poetry group, The Righteous, Abigail Wells. Yeah.
Okay. So one thing that Mr. McAdoo and Ms. McAdoo taught us is to read the environment of where you are. I was going to just tell y'all a little bit of my story, but instead I'm going to tell y'all my testimony. So my testimony is, in 2019, I was diagnosed with a rigorous bone cancer, also known as osteosarcoma. Because of that cancer, I had to undergo rounds of chemotherapy and also an amputation of my right leg. But the thing is, like I said, I am a cancer survivor. I think I'm here today, and God brought me through it. There was several times that the doctors were like, "How are you going to make it?" I came in and I was sick. They said, "You're going to be in here for 2 weeks, and we don't know how it'll go." That next day, I was leaving the hospital. That's so much more. So this poem today I'm going to read is going to talk about the emotions, the feelings of what it feels like to hear those words, "You have cancer." When your body makes too many mistakes, I start to form. It doesn't matter where, how. Eventually, I'll have the doctor saying something is out of the norm. First, it's a checkup, the ER, then intense war. Something that you don't have to worry about is being born. The music orchestrated by me, it's sympathy. The music orchestrated by me begins. Its symphony of anxiety starts as anxious feet begin to tap and start up the beat. The vocals caused by prayers, hoping, praying, that is truly not me. But it's obvious to the doctors as they view on their electronic screens. Eventually, the heart takes over the beat as the soon drops. Silence eventually floods the room, but the chatter of the doctor just doesn't seem to stop. The doctor assure you it will be okay, but your mind doesn't respond because it's a blank space. From this point on, I changed your life. You didn't have a choice in getting me, but you do have a choice to fight.
The testimony as you go through your journey of self-determination, your testimony is important no matter the stage that you're in. So that was extremely powerful. Never let anybody, let you know. Never let anybody tell you that your testimony isn't powerful. It's extremely powerful. But keep within our 2 o'clock hopeful wishes. I would like to pass the ceremony to AJ and Jaden. So y'all have the floor, guys.
Okay, so today being the second day of Kwanzaa, we're celebrating KUJICHAGULIA. It's about self-determination. And today we all should practice staying committed to reach all of our goals in life, in school, whatever you're doing, you should always practice to reach those goals. And for me, this applies to my schoolwork, especially right now, because I'm in a place where right now, it's gonna really determine the rest of my life, what I do right now. So I wanna work my hardest to be able to keep straight A's, to stay focused on school. That's my main priority right now.
My main priority for
No.
And for me, what self-determination is reading every day, staying focused on schoolwork, and doing all my work the best of my ability, and be able to turn with pride, and also to basically be able to read.
Thank you so much, Jaden and AJ. We really appreciate you lighting the candles today. Thank you so much. And thank you for letting us know how you all plan to celebrate KUJICHAGULIA in the new year. Thank you so much, guys. So at this time, let me bring myself back. We're going to have some announcements. We definitely hope that you will join us tomorrow as we celebrate day 3 of Kwanzaa, which is Ujima, collective work and responsibility. That's to build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and to solve them together. We will be back here at this same link and on Facebook at 1 p.m. I know Wesley has assembled another amazing panel with conducting creativity. We are collecting books for the storybook project of Arkansas. You can gather your new and gently used books and drop them off at Pyramid Art Books and Custom Framing through January 1st, 2022. We welcome any subject, any condition, well, really new and gently used, so we can have a community impact on this organization. Another announcement is we do have a virtual event with Marita Golden. She is an author who will be discussing her book, The Strong Black Woman, tomorrow night at 7:00 p.m. It is a virtual event. We will put the information for how to join this free virtual event moderated by Janice Kearney in the chat and on Facebook. So we hope you join us. And just remember, tomorrow is Ujima. So when someone asks you Habari Gani, make sure you're ready with Ujima. And I am going to turn it back over to Wesley to close us out.
All right, everybody come off of mute one more time. I need to see everybody come off of mute one more time. Because when I say Habar Ghani, y'all are gonna speak back and say right, with more energy, of course. Everybody off mute, everybody off mute. All right, on 3, I'm gonna say Habar Ghani. I'm not gonna count.
That's what we gotta do.
Habar Ghani.
KUJICHAGULIA.
Habar Ghani.
KUJICHAGULIA.
Okay, we don't have time for everybody to write down, to speak on how they want to use this principle in Kwanzaa 365, because that's what we are celebrating. We're celebrating Kwanzaa for the whole year of 2022. But I want you to put it in your heart, put it in your mind, put it everywhere that you are going to use this principle of KUJICHAGULIA, self-determination. Y'all are going to go out 2022, even 2021 for the rest of the year and do great things, because you are going to be intentional about your growth. You're going to be intentional about your reflection. You're going to be intentional about your actions. So, Habar Ghani.
KUJICHAGULIA.
All right, the last thing, we always end Kwanzaa with Harambe. So I need everybody to turn their cameras on, please, because we have to put our fist up for Harambe. So everybody that can, please turn your cameras on. Tomorrow, we are celebrating Ujima at the same time, 1 p.m. We have a great ceremony tomorrow. We have a great panel. Mr. McAdoo is definitely going to bring the heat again. So join us again tomorrow at 1 p.m. But for now, when I say, when I count to 3, I need everybody to have a fist up. We're going to end in our Harambe. Everybody ready? Nobody said yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Harambe. Harambe. All right.
All right. See y'all tomorrow, 1 p.m. Same Zoom link. Y'all have a great Kwanzaa. KUJICHAGULIA.